Welcome to the Industrial Revolution by Jaylah and Derise Cox. The Industrial Revolution began in Great Britain. It was an economic way to change how the world produced goods. The population went from agriculture to industrial, which meant that the farmers were forced to move out of the country and into the cities to find work. But they were sent to cities that could not support them and their needs. While farmers were trying to find support, there were new technology advancements made. One of these advancements made was the assembly line, which was invented by Henry Ford. Another invention was the telegraph. The telegraph made communicating across the ocean easier and faster, so that the messages could be sent and received in minutes that same day. The growth of the Industrial Revolution depended on the ability to transport raw materials and finished goods over long distances. There are four main types of transportation during the Industrial Revolution, and they were railroads, steamships, canals, and turnpikes. The railroad has a steam engine that was invented by Thomas Newcomb and James Watt. They took the coal and burned it to make steam. The steam from the burned coal makes the piston go up and down so the engine can move. By using railroads, the market will increase by selling things local, regional, and global. The next form of transportation is the steamship. The steamship is a cargo that was made to transport goods to others and to get incoming goods. Almost as soon as the steam engine was invented, there were attempts to use it as a motor power to drive ships. In the early 1700s, Dennis Poppin was the first to try to put a steam engine into a ship. His idea was to use the steam to drive a paddle wheel. Poppin's idea was defeated, and thereon people continued to try to make the steamship successful. The first successful steamship, though, was built in 1802 by William Simonton. This ship was used as a tugboat on the Fourth Clyde Canal. The canal was a man-made waterway and has two horses pulling it. The big advantage in using the canals were that manufacturers could ship more products at a time, and they could ship them more quickly into more remote places. From the 1730s onwards, old roads became better maintained and new. Turnpike roads were constructed. This was in parallel with the development of canals and resulted from an increasing need to transport goods produced during the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. Turnpike trusts were set up by local businessmen, traders, and other investors. Under the Turnpike Act, they could build new roads or assume responsibility for existing roads. To finance their projects, a trust was allowed to collect a fee from every traveler using one of its roads. The fee or toll was collected at each end of each section of the road. In these places, a gate and a toll-keeper cottage was positioned. In today's time, we use tolls to pay while traveling. Most of the time, it is to enter into a new state. The Industrial Revolution transportation has not changed much from today because we still use tolls while traveling. Fertilizer is the soil used to make goods. During this time, they used it to make turnips. Turnip was the biggest crop that was used most of the time. Before crop rotation started, farmers would plant their crops and wait for them to grow. Once the crop grew, they would harvest them. After they harvest them, they would plant more of the same crops in the same place. This was a problem because if you plant the same crops in the same place all the time, then you will take out the nutrients and kill the soil. The farmers noticed that their crops were not growing, so they tried a new system called the crop rotation. Crop rotation is when you plant one crop one year and it uses some nutrients, you plant a different crop in the same place to help replenish the nutrients taken from the ground. And after that year, you plant a different plant in that spot, and so on, until you get back to the plant you originally planted there. This helps keep the nutrient balance, and it kept the farmers from worrying about the soil. After crop rotation, they would use soil mixing to mix in the good soil with the bad soil. People say this helped grow plants more. When the soil mixing process was done, the seeds had to fight for soil, water, and sunlight. So Tool created the seed drill to spread the seeds evenly. This helped because the seeds were able to get the amount of soil, water, and sunlight they needed. The putting out system was a popular system that was a little bit before the Industrial Revolution. The putting out system is when a neighbor would start by shearing the sheep for wool, and then they put it in a bale to deliver to their neighbor's steps. The next neighbor gets the bale of wool and spins the wool into yarn. After they spin it, they put it back in the bale and puts it on the next neighbor's step. The neighbor gets the bale of yarn and starts to weave it into cloth. Then they dye it to make it look pretty. After dyeing the cloth, the neighbor takes the cloth to the store. Once it is at the store and the merchant sells it, the money the merchant gets goes to the neighbors who worked on it. The women then split the money up between each other. The one who did the most work gets the most money, and the one who did the less work gets the less money. All these things played a huge part in the Industrial Revolution. You may not think so, but they do. The Industrial Revolution then ended in 1850. I hope you guys enjoyed our presentation. Thank you.